The bathroom door creaked open, a sound that echoed ominously in the quiet house. Bella, our German Shepherd puppy, froze in her tracks, her tiny body stiffening with a mix of curiosity and fear. Her ears, usually perky and alert, drooped with suspicion. The scent? Unfamiliar, a mix of soap and something else she couldn't quite place. The sounds? Gurgling water, metal clinking. This was new. This was scary. This was bath time. The very concept seemed alien to her. Bella had encountered many firsts in her short life. Her first bone, which she gnawed on with great enthusiasm. Her first walk in the park, where every leaf and twig was a new adventure. Her first tumble with her toys, each one a new friend to wrestle and chew. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared her for the sheer terror of her first bath. The sight of the tub filled her with dread. She whined, a soft, mournful sound that spoke volumes of her impending doom. It was as if she was pleading with us to reconsider, or at least that's what it sounded like to her. Her eyes, wide and filled with worry, seemed to ask, "Why are you doing this to me?" We coaxed her closer, our voices soothing, our hands offering gentle encouragement. We wanted her to know she was safe. She took a tentative step, then another, her paws barely touching the cold tile floor as if it were a booby-trapped minefield. Each step was a monumental effort. Each step was a reluctant concession to the inevitable. Oh, the indignity. She moved forward, inch by inch, her body language a mix of reluctance and resignation. Finally, with a gentle lift, we placed her in the tub. The water was warm, but to Bella, it might as well have been a sea of uncertainty. As we lathered her with soap, her initial panic began to subside. The gentle massage of our hands seemed to reassure her, if only a little. By the time we were drying her off with a fluffy towel, Bella's terror had transformed into a reluctant acceptance. She looked up at us, her eyes saying, "Maybe this isn't so bad after all." And as she bounded off to play with her favorite toy, we knew that while bath time might always be a challenge, it was one we could face together. The moment arrived. We lifted Bella, her soft puppy belly warm against our legs, and lowered her gently into the tub. The water was lukewarm, tested and retested to ensure optimal puppy comfort. But Bella didn't care about optimal puppy comfort. She cared about escaping this watery prison. The protests began. Not a simple whimper this time, but a full-blown operatic performance of canine disapproval. She yelped, she barked, she attempted to scale the slippery porcelain walls, her paws flailing like a tiny, furry windmill. We held firm, speaking softly, reassuring her that this was not the end of her world, merely a necessary evil on the path to smelling fresh and clean. Secretly, we couldn't help but chuckle at the sheer drama of it all. It was like watching a Shakespearean tragedy unfold, starring a very wet, very vocal German Shepherd puppy. Just when we thought the bath time battle would rage on, a change came over Bella. It was as if a switch had been flipped, and the once frantic puppy began to settle. Perhaps it was the gentle massage of the shampoo, working its way into her thick, soft coat. The rhythmic motion seemed to soothe her, each stroke a calming lullaby. Or maybe it was the realization that struggling was futile. The warm water and the tender care were not enemies, but friends. Whatever the reason, Bella's resistance slowly melted away. Her tense muscles began to relax, and her breathing steadied. The yelps subsided, replaced by soft, curious sniffs. She began to explore the new sensations, her nose twitching as she took in the unfamiliar scents. Her tail, which had been tucked between her legs in fear, began to wag tentatively. It was a small, cautious movement, but it spoke volumes. The suds, piled high on her head like a fluffy white crown, seemed to tickle her. She shook her head slightly, sending tiny bubbles flying. A playful glint sparked in her eyes. It was as if she was beginning to see the fun in this strange new ritual. Could it be? Was Bella enjoying herself? The transformation was almost magical. We continued the lather and rinse routine, amazed by Bella's sudden change of heart. Each rinse seemed to wash away a bit more of her fear. The water, once a source of terror, now seemed to intrigue her. She watched it flow with wide, fascinated eyes. She pawed at the bubbles, her dark eyes wide with wonder. Each pop brought a new discovery, a new joy. The bathroom, previously a place of fear, was transforming into a strange, wonderful playground. Bella's journey from terror to joy was a sight to behold, a testament to the power of patience and gentle care. And then it happened. Bella, our little drama queen, opened her mouth and let out a sound that can only be described as singing. It wasn't a bark, it wasn't a howl, it was something altogether unique. A series of high-pitched yodels and trills, accompanied by vigorous tail thumps against the bottom of the tub. Was this a song of resignation, a ballad of bath-time bliss? We couldn't be sure, but one thing was certain. Bella was putting on a show. She tilted her head back, her eyes closed in what we could only assume was canine ecstasy, and poured her heart out into the suds-filled air. We couldn't help but laugh. This little dog, who just moments ago had been the picture of canine despair, was now serenading us with her bath-time aria. It was impossible not to be charmed. The bath concluded with a thorough rinse, leaving Bella's coat squeaky clean and smelling faintly of coconut shampoo. Gone was the mud-caked adventurer, replaced by a fluffy, gleaming cloud of puppy perfection. We wrapped her in a warm towel, and she snuggled in contentedly, her bath-time ballad now a distant memory. Released from the towel, Bella shook herself off with gusto, sending droplets of water flying across the bathroom. She raced around, a furry whirlwind of energy, no longer the scared little pup who had entered the bathroom just a short while ago. The transformation was remarkable. Bath time, once a dreaded ordeal, had somehow morphed into a playful, almost enjoyable experience. Perhaps it was the warm water, the soothing massage, or maybe just the sheer novelty of it all. Whatever the reason, Bella had faced her fear and emerged victorious, a cleaner, happier, and significantly louder puppy. The days that followed were filled with sunshine, laughter, and the boundless energy of a young puppy discovering the world. Bella, it seemed, had developed a newfound appreciation for water. No longer was it the enemy that turned her fur into a soggy mess. It was now a source of endless fun and excitement. She chased after the hose in the garden, barked excitedly at puddles, and reveled in the cool splashes that followed her every move. Bella even dipped her paws cautiously into the bird bath, her curiosity piqued by the ripples she created, much to the dismay of the resident sparrows, who fluttered away in a flurry of feathers. While she hadn't quite reached the point of jumping into the tub voluntarily, there was a noticeable change in her demeanor. The sheer terror of bath time had dissipated, replaced by a reluctant acceptance. She no longer trembled at the sight of the bathtub, and the once dreaded experience had become a bit more bearable. She still whined a bit when the dreaded words bath time were uttered, her eyes pleading for a reprieve, but it was a half-hearted whine, lacking the dramatic flair of her first performance. Her small barks seemed more like a formality than a genuine protest. Perhaps, just perhaps, a bath-loving dog lurked beneath that playful, mischievous exterior. Or maybe she was simply learning to tolerate the inevitable. Either way, we were grateful for the peace treaty that had been signed, a silent agreement between us and Bella. This treaty, sealed with suds, song, and a whole lot of puppy energy, brought a sense of calm to our household. Bella's playful antics continued, but now with a newfound appreciation for the water that once terrified her. As she frolicked in the garden, her fur glistening with droplets, we couldn't help but smile at the transformation. Bella had not only conquered her fear, but had also found joy in the very thing she once dreaded. It was a small victory, but a significant one, and it filled our hearts with pride and love for our brave little pup. As we watched Bella romp through the grass, her coat gleaming in the sunlight, we couldn't help but smile. The memory of her first bath, with all its drama and unexpected humor, would forever hold a special place in our hearts. It was a reminder that even the most daunting of experiences can be overcome, and that sometimes the things we fear the most can turn out to be not so bad after all. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, one day, Bella would surprise us all and jump into the tub with unbridled enthusiasm, ready to belt out another one of her bath time ballads. Until then, we cherish the memories and brace ourselves for the next adventure in puppy parenthood.